Welcome back. Okay. So we have finished with the first section of this. Remember, the chapter is important. 19 chapter, 20 chapter. From 2 chapters, 15 marks question is there. Directly 15 marks. Right? So at least 2 or 3 questions will be there from this chapter itself. So it becomes important. Right? Part B and C itself, total 20 plus 15. 35 marks is for part B and C itself. So please read that properly. Okay. Now we come to second section, which is your ESG rating. Ma'am, what is ESG? We know this. Environmental, social, corporate governance. Now we have to give rating of that. ESG rating means what? Here we are going to understand what is ESG, how the ratings are given, which organizations gives the rating, on what criterias the ratings are given. Scores basically. So that, why the purpose? So that investors, stakeholders can compare different organizations based on the rating. They can decide, right? You can also, your company can yourself see that, okay, easy to evaluate, yes, that okay, you are at what position, you need to improve, what performances you need. So that is your ESG rating, correct? So let's start here one by one. Meaning of ESG, we already know. Environmental, social, governance. It is a framework designed for what? To take care of all these 3 dimensions. Environmental, social and corporate governance. Right? So ESG is a framework designed to be embedded into the organization strategy. That include in your organization strategy only. Which 3 factors? ESG. That consider the needs and ways in which to generate value for all the organizational stakeholders. That when you make your company plans, include this ESG also, so that the value is created for the stakeholders. And then we have to create value for stakeholders. Then it is a term used to represent an organization's financial interest that focuses on sustainable and ethical impacts. ESG means what? Environmental, social, governance. That how much any organization is interested in these areas. It will help you to identify, to represent that, right, on this, all the sustainable activities. Then okay, while ethical, sustainable and corporate governance are considered non-financial, of course money is not involved here, right? We are not comparing in terms of profits and losses, so it is non-financial indicators. Their role is to ensure accountability and systems to manage a corporation's impact. How it is going to, how these activities, whatever business activities you are doing, how it is impacting the environment, how it is impacting the society, you are answerable for that. Right now we are not looking at what is the profits, losses, how much, what are the debts you have taken, how much is the creditors, debtors. We are not looking at that, right? You are answerable for the system which is there related to the ESG, how it is impacting. Then ESG corporate reporting can be used by stakeholders for what? To find out that how much the organization is towards the sustainability or not. What risks are there? What opportunities are there? Stakeholders can find out. That is why they will do the reporting, sustainability reporting, which we have done. So investors can use ESG data for what? To analyze risk and opportunities, to evaluate the enterprise value, to find out that okay, how much they are inclined towards the sustainability, right? So for all these things, investors will use this ESG data. Done. So basic introduction is given that what is ESG. Now again, easiest time pass. What are the criteria for ESG? What are the dimensions? Man, very simple. Environmental, social, governance. In environmental, if I want to see that what are the related to environmental factors, how I will see? What criteria I will check? That whether an organization is inclined towards the environmental factors or not. Environment, natural, whether how the company is protecting the natural resources, how you are using the natural resources, you're not wasting it, right? Air pollution, you're not doing air pollution, you're not cutting down the trees. Basic, remember, once upon a time we had environmental studies also. Same thing here also. That related to the environment factors. So what it will include, how much an organization consider the protection of natural resources. Ma'am, entire subjects we have done. These factors include environment, climate change, energy consumption, use, and its overall impact. That how much you don't have to use the entire resources yourself. What you will leave for future generation. Remember, sustainability itself tells that okay, leave something for future. So examples are given: air and water quality, biodiversity, deforestation, pollution, all these things you can write it down. How you are harming the environment, basically. Then, now social will talk about what? Behavior, society. How you are treating the society, what is your behavior towards the society, towards the people, human, right? So that will be included in the social factors. Environmental factors related to the environment, natural resources, social, society. So social factor address how an organization treats people. People, community relations are there, including your own employees as well. They are also included in the social, right? Including the organization's connection and impact on local communities. How you are impacting the society. How the customers, whether customers are satisfied or not. You are giving proper data to your customers. How you are treating. So all these are social. So examples are given: customer satisfaction, data protection and privacy policy, especially in case of banking sectors. My entire data is there with the bank. It is the bank's duty to protect my data. Correct? So that all are the social factors. Efforts to fund projects or institutions that help poor and undeserved community globally. Doing good for the society, do good for the people basically. Then governance. We already know what governments will include now. How the company is run, company's administration, right? What is the company's system to run, right? Board committees, board constitution, structure of the board, right? Internally, what are you doing? What governance mechanism you are following? Are you transparently, are you reporting properly or not? All the information, remember we have always discussed, all the information should be disclosed. So all this is your governance for internally what you are doing in the company. So governance examines how a corporation policies itself, focusing on internal system, controls and practices to maintain compliance. It focuses on transparency, best practices, organization management. How is the management? Company leadership, CEO, CFO, top management, key managerial personnel are there. What is the board composition? Independent directors, non-independent, executive, non-executive, right? Then a related party should not be there. All these things we have discussed, right? How many levels of management is there? Top, bottom, middle, top, middle, bottom level is there, or only two levels are there? So all these things will come in your governance. What is the work of the company? Done? Nothing difficult till now. We already know what is ESG. That is only they have given. That E means environmental. What we will see in environment? Natural resources. S, society, social, people, human. G, governance, administration, internal organization of the company. What is the behavior of the company? What is the leadership? What is the board constitution? How it is framed? What is the remuneration you are giving? So all these are the governance practices. Now let us come to ESG rating. Now we have to give the scores, ratings, right? ESG, what is ESG? We have understood. Now we will give rating on that. Done. So different criteria will be there. On what criteria you are giving the scores. That is your ESG rating. So ESG score is an objective measurement or evaluation of a given company. Whatever companies, you have to give the rating, right? Given company, fund or securities performance with respect to what? ESG factors. Specific evaluation criteria vary between different rating platforms. Different agencies are there, ESG rating agencies. Everybody will have their own criteria how to evaluate. To give scores, everybody may have different criteria. Allow. So ESG scoring system, it could be either industry specific or industry agnostic. What is ESG score? ESG rating means what? Giving scores, giving objective measurement, measuring, evaluating of any company, any funds, any securities with respect to ESG, environment, social and governance factors, right? Different organizations, different platforms use different criteria to give the scores, ESG scores. Done. Now scoring system can be industry wise also, industry specific or industry agnostic. Industry specific means what? That the criteria are related to that industry only. For example, food industry, different criteria will be there. Education sector, different criteria will be there. That on what criteria we will judge. Correct? So that is known as industry specific. Manufacturing sector, our criteria will be different. Or industry agnostic means what? General, overall. That overall, what are the criteria which is applicable to any type of industry? That is known as industry agnostic. So it could be anything. A system, you could have industry specific system also, or you could have industry agnostic system also. For what? For ma'am giving the rating, ESG ratings. Right now we are looking at that only, that how will you give the ratings. So any system could be there. See, this is material to that industry at large. Whereas industry agnostic means what? Accepted factors which are meaningful across all the industries. For example, human rights, equality. Now, any industry is there, you have to protect human rights, right? So that is common for all the industry. Done? Now, if I give an example for the governance, ESG governance. Now, in our education sector, all the time we are on the meetings, we are taking the lectures, right? Do you think same thing will be there in the manufacturing sector? Obviously no. Their governance will be totally different. They are not giving some professional input, right? Their labor work will be more. So their human rights will be totally different as compared to your sector. So industry specific, depending on industry, ESG score ratings will also be different. Done? Okay. Next, ESG rating platforms, different ESG agencies are there. Determines a weighting for each measurement criteria. Then they assess an organization's performance. First of all, you will develop the criteria that, okay, on what criteria I am going to judge. Now, once the criteria is developed, I will see your performance against that criteria. And accordingly, I will give the scorings. An organization's final ESG score is a sum product of the criteria ratings. Different criteria ratings are there. Total of that will be your total ESG ratings. Then ESG rating focuses on long-term ESG, environmental, social and governance risk. We already know. Yes. A good ESG rating means what? Company is managing its environmental, social and governance risk relative well to its peers. Peers means your competitors. If your rating is good, that means as compared to the competitors, you are managing well your ESG. Right? A poor ESG rating is the opposite. The company has relatively higher unmanaged. If ESG rating is less, that means what? You have not managed your ESG. You have not managed your risk. Correct? So, the more the ESG rating, better. Plus, ESG rating will help investors to understand. Looking at the scores, directly investors will be able to take decisions. Because everybody will not be able to see the report and understand the report properly. But scores, everybody will be able to understand, right? That, okay, this company's ESG score is good. I will invest in this company. Right? That will become easier for the investors as well. So it will help investors understand the company's priorities and long-term risk. So investors will be easily able to identify and take decisions. Done. What do you mean by ESG scores? I'm very simple. ESG scores are nothing but the scores which are given to the different companies. For what? That how you are managing your environmental, social, and governance factors. Different ESG platforms will have different criterias to measure this, right? And it could be industry specific also, it could be industry agnostic as well. They will first of all develop the criterias, and against that criteria they will give the ratings. They will check each criteria, and how final total ESG ratings will be there. Some product of that, total of that, that will be your ESG ratings. Now ESG rating, a good ESG rating means what? That yes, you have managed your ESG risks properly. If you have poor ESG rating, means you have not managed properly. That means higher the ESG ratings, better for you. Plus it will help investors also to understand the companies, that okay, how the company is giving priority to ESG as well. Done. So ma'am, even if short note is also asked, we have discussed all the points. Just now I told you 5-6 points easily. Now we can write it down on ESG ratings. Yes, doubt? Any doubt? What do you mean by ESG rating, ESG scores, industry specific, industry agnostic? Till now, whatever we done, for example, first part we have done sustainability, right? So chances of the in sustainability audit, first of all, chances are more of that what is the framework or process of sustainable audit. The most important topic, which is very easy as well, right? I hope you remember we have done this. Then, so that is important chapter. Then an important topic. Then another question could be what it includes. Report. And remember always, wherever it is asked introduction, first of all, we will give. Third question that could come is advantages. Advantages, needs, whatever you say for the sustainable audit. So that 3 questions are important from the first part. If I consider the most important from first one. Then, of course, that case study which was there of the manufacturing, that is not going to be asked. Okay. Now in the part B, that also I'll tell you which part is important. So till now in part B also what we have discussed, that first of all, what do you mean by ESG? Then we have discussed what are the criteria for ESG. 3, environmental, social, governance. In environment, we will see environmental, in natural resources. Social, we will talk about society. And G, governance, internal working of the company. Done. Then we have discussed about ESG ratings. What do you mean by ESG rating? What is industry specific, industry agnostic? Good ESG rating means what? Bad ESG rating means what? Right? So all these things, then it will, ESG ratings will help also investors. So what is ESG rating? That we have discussed. Different ESG platforms will use different criteria to measure this, to give the scores. Now we come to KPI, key performance indicators. ESG key performance indicator. Okay. ESG KPI. Now key performance indicator, from heading only you get an idea. Key performance means what? That how to understand indicators. That what are the indicators? We have to give scores. But on what basis? How we will give scores? Right? Some indicators, some criteria should be there. So that is your key performance indicators. So traceable figures to help firms understand ESG impact. What is KPI? It is nothing but the traceable figures, numbers, to help understand the firms related to the ESG impact. It provides the managers and investors with an idea that what risk their investments and fund face related to the ESG. That what are the risk involved. So managers, investors, they will come to know. Done? Okay. Okay. KPI means what? They are the traceable figures, traceable, meant to help firms understand the environment impact, ESG impact. Okay. For venture capital and private equity managers, ESG KPIs are integral in understanding. This KPIs will be important. Why? Because you need to take decision. So venture capital, private equity managers are there. They have to take decisions that whether to invest or not. So for them, this key KPI will be very important. ESG impact of the companies they invest in are thinking about investing and thus impact of their funds. So that they will come to know that where we are investing, what will be the risk involved, what are the returns we can expect, what will be the impact. Right? So that is why KPIs are important, key performance indicators. ESG KPI also provide managers and investors with an idea of what risk their investments are facing. Done? Then SEBI. SEBI LODR regulations are there. What SEBI have said? That top 1000 listed entities, then annual report shall contain BRSR. This before also we have discussed BRSR, right? So SEBI have said the top listed and 1000 listed entities in that they also have to give annual report. In that you will include BRSR. Yesterday itself also we have done. What is BRSR? Yes. What is it? Business responsibility and sustainable reporting. Correct. BRSR. Can anyone tell me that BRSR have replaced which report? This we have done yesterday. Yes, very good. BRR. Right? We have discussed that before that was BRR. But then the focus came on sustainability as well. That you don't just have to report on responsibility. Sustainability is also important part. So first BRR was there. Then BRSR it replaced. Done? So I'm very glad that yes, you remember. Okay. So coming here to the SEBI. So SEBI LODR Amendment Act was there in 2023. That means latest amendment. That for the top 1000 listed entities. How 1000 listed entities we will calculate based on market capitalization. So their annual report should contain BRSR as well. Format, whatever format they give, as may be specified. In that format, you will give the BRSR report. Done? Okay. Next. Provided that the assurance of BRSR shall be obtained with effect from and in the manner as may be specified. Fine. Whatever they are specifying, accordingly we will conduct. On referring the consultation paper of ESG disclosure ratings and investing by SEBI, it is mentioned that, remember here, assurance can be either limited or reasonable assurance. Two types of assurances are there. First of all, always remember, auditors, what auditors do? Auditors give guarantee or auditors give assurance? Auditors normally give reasonable or limited assurance because you cannot take 100% guarantee. Why? Because you are an outsider, you don't know what company is hiding. What if company have done wrong? Yes, to the best extent possible, you will try to find out each and everything. But you are not the investigator or you are not the CBI. Finding out fraud is not your scope. What is your scope? To check that yes, companies run smoothly. Company is doing everything properly. Best example to understand, I will say, for example, this CBI comes or CID comes, right? Or income tax department search happens. What is their mindset? If income tax department is putting a search on my company, raid is going on. The department by default, their mindset will be what? That yes, something is wrong in my organization. That is only the mindset, right? Mindset itself, it's from the day one, there is mindset that yes, there is some fraud, there is some fault, that I have done some errors. Whereas in case of auditor, we never go with that mindset that okay, something might be wrong in this company. No, we go with the mindset that okay, we have to check. Yes, while doing the audit, if you find out any frauds, of course you will check in detail. But we don't go with that mindset, right? As an auditing, our work is to check, to give recommendations, to improve, right? So there is a total difference in the mindset, right? So that is why auditor gives limited or reasonable assurance. The assurance can be either limited or reasonable, right? So limited assurance is being adopted globally by jurisdiction as it is relatively easy to implement. Limited assurance. However, due to its inherent nature, limited assurance draws relatively low confidence because you are giving assurance on limited things only, right? While reasonable assurance, despite being relatively more expensive, draws more confidence. For example, out of 20 chapters, I am just giving assurance about the one chapter. That from this chapter, that this is the chances limit, that is limited assurance. Reasonable means what? From the majority of the chapters, I'm telling you the important things. That okay, what you have to study, what you don't have to study. What is it? Reasonable assurance. Even though reasonable assurance will take more time, right? If I have to teach one chapter, it will take less time. Limited assurance. Reasonable assurance will take more time, but you will have confidence on that. Correct? Same goes with the audit as well. That limited assurance is good, cost effective also, but it gives less confidence as compared to the reasonable assurance. Even though it is more expensive, but it gives more confidence that yes, you can, how to study, you can trust, all that things you will come to know easily, you will have more confidence. Then so that will be the problem, that if we go for limited assurance, less confidence will be there, but cost will be effective. We have to look at the cost also, right? If we go for reasonable assurance, confidence will be more, but cost is in expense, it is very expensive. Correct? So to find out this problem, we want to fulfill those both the objective, that yes, it should be more confidence also should arise, and it should be less costly, right? Our purpose is both. So that is why this BRSR core is there. In order to achieve the twin objective of improving credibility, confidence, and limiting the cost, we have to reduce the cost, right? So BRSR core has been proposed by SEBI for reasonable assurance, which consists of selected KPI under each ESG that needs to be reasonably assured. So what SEBI have done? SEBI found out in between a way. Simple. Problem was that if we go for limited assurance, problem is what? Less confidence. Because you will not check each and everything. Limited scope, right? But cost effective. If we go for reasonable, more confidence. But problem is it is more expensive, right? To solve this, that means what characteristics we want? We want it should be cost effective also. We want more confidence also. These two characteristics we want. So for that is why BRSR core has been developed by SEBI. So what SEBI did? SEBI brought out KPIs, key performance indicators, right? Specific things we will look. That means cost effective it will be there, right? Plus investors will get more confidence, so problem will be solved. I hope you are understanding all this thing. So when you read this, do not get confused that okay, what is happening? So you will get reasonable assurance also, but in selected KPI. So limited plus reasonable, combination of both. So SEBI in this regard issued a consultation paper on ESG disclosure, rating and investing in the month of February. Fine. Related to this, they have issued one paper introducing the concept of BRSR core, for third party insurance assurance on selected KPI under ESG areas. Areas are itself ESG only. So SEBI brought out this BRSR core, but then what they have introduced this concept, right, that how to be used it, because people should, you have to get the training also for that. So ESG advisory committee, they have adopted the following approach. What approach they have taken here? Now they have to go for they have to develop BRSR core. What is BRSR core? That we have understood, right? How it developed BRSR core. Why? Because this was the reason. This was the problem phase. That is why BRSR core came. Then, so ESG advisory committee, what they adopted? The KPIs sought in BRSR are quantifiable to the extent possible so as to facilitate comparability. That means quantity. What they did, that now if quality is there, how to give the numbers? But if quantifiable data are there, so we can easily give numbers and compare, right? So that first of all, they have focused on that. So KPIs sought in BRSR are quantifiable amounts to the extent possible so as to facilitate, so that you can easily compare. Then they have developed such factors which are relevant for any type of industry, whether it is manufacturing or service sectors. Such indicators, that indicators will be relevant for manufacturing sector as well, service sector. That means common. That means for different sectors, you don't have to waste time again and again. Then next, KPIs contain a number of intensity ratios. Intensity ratios means what? Those ratios which do not depend on the size of the company. Even though if it is a large size organization, even though it is a small size organization, it will be helpful in any company, right? So that is how BRSR core has been developed, that how we will do the key performance indicator. So first we said that as much as in amounts or in numbers we can do quantity, quantifiable means what? Where you can describe in numbers, so that it will be easier to compare. Second, we will develop such KPIs factors which are relevant for both sectors, manufacturing or service sector, common. Then intensity ratios, such ratios which are common, which you can easily compare small organization to the large organization also. Then so quantity, then factors and intensity ratios. Yes. Just go through this chart once. Any doubt in this till now? Just go through it once. Done? Any doubt in this? That what is BRSR? If you want, yes, you can write down this also. Okay. So this was developed in, first of all, 23, right? This BRSR core concept came in February 2023. This concept they have introduced because the problem was that limited assurance, reasonable assurance. That is why, right? So at present, the metrics related to the supply chain of a company are covered under the leadership indicators, because slowly and gradually it is developing, so it will take time. So right now the metrics related to the supply chain of a company they have developed, right? They may be reported on voluntary basis. So what it was decided, that BRSR core will be developed in a gradual manner and on comply or explain basis. If you remember in chapter 1 also we have discussed comply or explain, right? Either you follow the rules, if you're not following, explain why you're not doing that. Give us the reason for that. If not, why not? Right? Same goes here, that for financial year 24-25, yes, in different type of committees, basic concept in every committee was same, comply or explain, right? So ESG disclosures as per BRSR core for supply chain for top 250 companies on comply or explain basis. Assurance not mandatory. Even though it is not mandatory, but comply, otherwise explain why you're not doing. Done? So now the KPIs of some examples are given. KPIs. That how the KPIs will be developed. Ma'am, we have said that, okay, we will develop some indicators based on which we will give the ratings. So how it will develop? First of all, three areas are there. ESG, environmental, social, governance. Correct? Three categories are there. So first of all, environmental category. So we will focus on all these points. What are the policies, impacts, consumption, intensity, emission, all these things. Right? So if I talk about environment, these are my key KPIs, key performance indicators related to the environment. We have to answer that. Right? Environmental policy, what they will check, what this ESG rating platforms will check, because after checking only ratings will be given, right? So related to the policy, what they will check, okay, that whether environmental policies are there, if yes, whether it is followed or not. Environmental impact, whether any legal or regulatory responsibility is there, how it is impacting. May be possible, for example, Swachh Bharat. If you are not following that Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, may be possible some penalties are charged on you, right? If you are harming the environment, penalties could be charged. So what is the impact? What are the legal and regulatory responsibility which you should do? Energy consumption, how much you are using. Energy intensity, amount of energy used. Done? Then carbon emission. Carbon emission should be more or less, which is good for the environment. Of course, ma'am, less, right? So they will check that quantity, that how much amount of your carbon emissions you are releasing from your organization, from your manufacturing factory, right? What is the primary energy source? Best example, nowadays we have solar panels. Government gives subsidies also for that solar panels, right? To generate electricity from there. So what is your primary energy source? That from where you are getting the electricity? Primarily I am getting it from solar panels. That means my rating will be good, right? So what is the primary source of energy? Then renewable energy resources, percentage of energy used for renewable resources, how your water management is done, how your consumption is there, how much you are saving or recycling. Waste management, again waste management, how much waste you are generating, how much you are recycling. So based on all these criterias, ratings will be given. So these are your examples of KPI, key performance indicator related to the environment. Then what is KPI now? So KPI is this points, this ESG ratings of platforms will check and then they will give the scores on this. Similarly, social is there. So many factors are there. That is only given here. So social means what? Human, society, right? Taking care of everybody. So your focus will also be that, not the environment. Environment we have done. Now social, monetary and non-monetary employee benefits. What employee wages you are giving, what benefits you are giving, because different organization gives different benefits as well, right? What you are doing for their betterment. So based on that, ratings will be given. Then attrition rate. Attrition rate means what? Turnover rate. Employees turnover rate. What do you mean by employee turnover rate? Yes. How many employees are leaving the organization? Right? That is known as turnover. That, for example, that every month my employees join, they just stay in my organization for 2 months only, they leave. Then again I'll have to appoint new employees, right? That means my turnover is very much, which is not good for the organization. The more employees stay in the company, better for the company. If every 2 months my employees are leaving, when I will do business, my new employees will come, I will have to train them. They get proper training and all, by the time they will leave, again another employee will come, again I will have to give training. So if my time is spent on training only, when will I do my main work? Right? So employee turnover rate, it should be less. Your employees should stay in the organization. So if your employee turnover rate is more, it will impact your ESG ratings as well. Right? So that is another factor they will check. Then training and development as how that per employee, whether you are giving the trainings or not, because trainings are also important. What healthcare benefits are given, human rights policies and violation, how much rights you have violated, what are the problems addressed, whether they have resolved or not. Then whether you are doing child labor or not, because child labor is prohibited, right? So if you are still involved in that, obviously your rating will not be good. So does the company consider that or not? Gender parity, that means equality, whether equal opportunities you are giving to the men and women. So that should be there. Local procurement. Local procurement means what? Local vendors. Whatever raw materials you are purchasing, whether you are importing or you're taking it from the local vendors. Right? For example, small vendors are there in the villages. Correct? So from where you are taking. Okay, what will be preferred? Local vendors or imports? And this is very obvious answer. Yes. What government will, what this ESG platforms will want? They are giving ratings. Your rating will be more when if you are taking local procurement or import. Yes, tell me quickly. From the government point of view, what government will always want? Import. Government will always support local procurements. Best example, Make in India. Modi ji's Make in India was there. Is there in fact. What is the main focus? That you don't import, because our Indian money is going outside. Export. Right? Yes, handcrafts and all small villages are small vendors villages are there. So that is why local procurement, Make in India, that you make in India, you take procurement from local only. That will be preferred more. Yes, export you increase because foreign money will come in India. That is fine. But try that import should be less because our Indian money is going outside. So that is your local procurement. So they will check this also, percentage of local procurement from local supplier. And community and social work. Total number of hours spent on community work, because social itself means for the society. How much time you are spending for the society, whether you are helping the society, whether gender equality is there or not, you are not doing child labor. So all these indicators are there on which ratings will be given related to the society. Then governance. Now governance, ma'am, we know already internal how the company is managed. Board, whether board is independent, what is the board constitution, how many members are there, what, whether they have qualifications or not, right? That is your all thing are governance. So let's come here, governance. Board independence, number of independent directors. And we have seen also different committees have different criterias. Minimum 3 directors we want, minimum 50% we want, right? So is it there or not? Board diversity. That means men-women ratio should be there. Both should be there. It should not be that in the board of directors only men are there or only women are there. Diversity should be there, right? Then separation of powers. CEO's powers will be different. Chairman powers will be different. CS powers will be different, right? So powers, whether the powers are distributed or not, separated or not. Then voting patterns and results. Disclosure of results of the voting of the last 3 general meetings, that how the meetings are done. right? On what basis the votings are done, how the result decisions are taken. Gender pay ratio, in what ratio the payment is made. If both men and women, they are at the same level, if me and let us say some other faculty, some another teacher is there, we are at the same level, but still if I am getting less payment and if another one is getting more payment, that means equality ratio is not there, right? So that will also be checked, that gender pay ratio, how what ratio is maintained. Then whether business ethics, code of conducts are followed or not. Business also have some ethics, whether rules, regulations, principles. Then supplier code of conduct. Why this supplier specifically is made? Because till now, remember we have just developed for the supplier only, right? Slowly and gradually we are developing for everything, but till now we have developed for supplier. That is why they have mentioned here supplier code of conduct. Now if you are checking KPIs for service, so service sector's code of conduct will be there, right? Adherence to the corporate governance practices, anti-bribery policies, that you are not giving bribery. If anybody is giving the bribery, what are your company's policy? Whether you are punishing that person or not, what actions you are taking. So based on all these things, ratings will be given. I hope you have understood what is this table about. Yes, it is a KPI, key performance indicators, related to the three things: environmental, social, and governance. Done? Yes. Now, ma'am, we have seen this in the start itself, that different ESG rating platforms will have their own criteria to find out. Correct? It is not that one platform is there. Different organizations are there, different platforms are there who will give rating. So now that is only the topic. ESG rating organization, ESG rating providers, and ESG methodology. That by what manner they give the ratings. Which different platforms are there, who are giving the ratings. All these things we have to study. Ma'am, why do we have to appoint this ESG rating agencies? We will only give rating. We will only check for our organization. You can't do that, right? You are only writing answer. You are only going to check exam answer paper in your exams, professional exam. Obviously, everybody will be passed only. And some outside person should be there to check your answer. Then they will decide whether you have cleared CS professional or not. Right? Same logic here also. That some outsider agency will come. They are the agencies. They are organization. They will examine the companies. These three factors: ESG factors, policies, whether it is sustainable or not, everything. Just now we have seen KPIs, right? And this, why they will do? First of all, investors, they will have more trust on ESG rating platforms, right? And they will be easily able to rely, easily able to compare the data for different organization. Now, as a company, why I will collect data of my competitors? I don't have data of my competitors, entire so much data. But this ESG platforms will have. So investors will be easily able to compare also. Then, now ma'am, from where they will collect this data? To give the scores, they need to find out the data also. All these answers also they need to find out. Then only they'll give scores, right? So from where? So depend. They will ask the companies itself, company's own disclosures they will check. They will go and ask the management. Related to employee questions are there, they can go and ask employees also. Then if anything in the news has come, third party reports is there, they will prepare a questionnaires and give it to the employees. Fill it up. Right? So by that way, different manners they will collect the data. Right? It is not that only one method they will follow. That okay, we will go and ask. No. They will check the documentations also of the company. They may ask some external people also, third party also. Something new in the news came up. So all this, from all these areas, they will collect all the data and then they will analyze and give the ratings. Done. Then employ their distinct methodology to aggregate and process the data. Data they have collected, now they are processing and making into a single rating. Accordingly, they will make a single rating. They will give you the rating. Then, now different ESG rating platforms are there. Organizations are there. Small topics are only there. Okay. Now we'll come to different ESG rating platforms, organizations. First one is your Dun & Bradstreet. What is it? It is also ESG rating organization. What it does? It is an international business data and analytics provider. It will give analysis. It will give all the data for internationally, right? It is an international business data and analytics provider. It provides insights into the company performance, trends, and ESG factors. Obviously, data will be related to ESG only, right? So inside the company, how is the company's performance? What are the trends going on? What are the ESG factors are there? How they are implementing? So related to all this, they will provide the details. Offers company level ESG scores. They will give the scores. Plus, they will help organization for the improvements also. That what important areas should be improved, where the risks are there, how will you manage the risk. So they give recommendations also. Then ESG focused research reports tailored to specific industry. Tailored to specific industries means what? Before some time only I've told that every industry might have their own demands. What is applicable in education sector is not applicable to manufacturing sector, right? So tailor means what? Accordingly, you will have to change your KPIs. So Dun & Bradstreet will do that also. Tailored to specific industry wise. Whatever industry requirements are there, accordingly they will do. Done. So this is your Dun & Bradstreet ESG rating organization. So first of all, it is an ESG rating organization. What it does, it provides analysis and data of the international business data and analysis. It provides insights of the company's performance, what are the trends, what are the ESG factors companies taking care. Then it gives the ESG scores. It helps the organization to improve and risk management. It is ESG focused research is there. It is mainly focused on ESG, right? It is a report which is focused on ESG, right? And it is tailored according to the specific industries. Whatever industry requirements are there, according to that, it is tailored. Is it clear? Dun & Bradstreet. Try to remember here itself. What is Dun & Bradstreet? Obviously, first of all, it is a ESG rating organization. So it is going to give the scores. Scores it will give based on what? Man, it will check. It will provide the international business data and analysis. It will do analysis. It will provide insights of the company. What are the ESG factors? How the company is performing? And then it will give scores. Plus, it will not just give scores. It will help organization also to find areas of improvement, where the improvement is needed, where the risk management is needed, right? And what is it? Dun & Bradstreet. It is nothing but a report they are going to give. Report for what? Focused on ESG. Main purpose is ESG only, right? And tailored to specific industries. Whatever the industry specific requirements are there, according to that, changes will be done. That is your Dun & Bradstreet. Ma'am, what are the names? So what they will do, they provide with an easy to understand snapshot of these rankings. Because anyway, we will not understand. We are not experts. They are experts. So they will provide proper rankings. And by looking at the rankings, we can easily understand, right? Including a comparison. Different companies will be compared. So you can take proper decisions. Then, okay. Next is your Sustainalytics ESG rating agencies. Now different other organization is there. Sustainalytics ESG risk ratings. Obviously, what it will provide? It will provide the rating and data. It is a data supply. It will provide the data. It provides ESG rating on 20,000 companies and 172 countries. That means basically internationally it provides data across. It is a subsidiary of Morningstar, one of the largest stock market data providers in the world. So basically it is a subsidiary of Morningstar. What is Morningstar? It is the largest stock market data provider. It provides data related to the stock market, Morningstar, right? And this Sustainalytics is the subsidiary of this Morningstar, right? Measure the ESG performance of companies on a global scale. Just now we have discussed 172 countries, global scale, right? Based on both quantity and quality, ratings will be given. Not just only on quantity, quality as well. So here focus is on both quantity as well as quality. So that is your Sustainalytics risk rating agencies. But listen, now when you will read this, now the confusion will start. Ma'am, here it is 20,000, here it is 40,000. Then, so ESG ratings on this 20,000 is that how much companies together they rate. And this 40,000 is total how much ratings they have given, total, overall till now. Fine. So right now we just have to remember 20,000. I hope this is clear. What is this 20,000 and 40,000? Because these are also ESG is also at the developing stage, right? So that is your Sustainalytics risk ratings. That what it is, it obviously it will give the rating. It is a data supply. It is a subsidiary of what? Morningstar. What is Morningstar? It is one of the largest stock market data providers. Done. So it will, what it will do? It will give ratings on 20,000 companies, 172 countries are there. Measure the ESG performance of the companies global wise. Plus, it will look at the quantity also and quality as well. And then the ratings will be given. Not just on quantity. Done. So first one was Dun and Bradstreet. Now Sustainalytics. Now the third one. Next. MSCI ESG ratings. ESG rating created by MSCI ESG research agencies. That is why their ratings are there. Now they released for 14,000 different equity and fixed income issuers. So what they have done? Who is the users specific? Who are specific? Equity and fixed income users, issuers. So this you have to remember. Then it is released for 14,000 different equity and fixed income issuers. Now what it answers? It answers 4 questions. In this model, 4 questions they will find out. First one, most significant ESG risk and opportunities. Now once you find out risk and opportunity, how your company is exposed to that. How it is going to affect your company. Risk and opportunities. First one, what are the risk and opportunities? Second, how it is going to impact your organization. Third, how you are managing it. If it is going to impact, you will have to manage also. Risk you have to reduce, opportunities you have to take. Right? And what is the overall assessment of how the company is managing the ESG risks? So these 4 questions they are going to find out. That what are the significant ESG risk and opportunities, how you are exposed to that risk and opportunities, how you are managing that risk and opportunities, and overall assessment, that overall what you have done related to this ESG. So ESG score 0 to 10 and rating AAA, CCC for each issuer. So such different ratings are there. AAA, CCC. Again, I am repeating, this chapter is very important. Along with that, whatever we are doing, plus, first of all, it have weightage. Secondly, this is totally all these things were not there in the old course which was there. The old syllabus which was there to now the syllabus have changed. They have changed a lot, right? So this was not there that time. So it becomes by default more important because few of the chapters were such which were continued same. Few chapters were included, few were removed also. So this is an important chapter as well. Right now, different rating agencies which we have discussed right now. Directly a question could be asked about this rating agencies. That write a short note. 4 marks answer will be there. Write a short note on MSCI ESG rating or Sustainalytics rating. Okay, yes. We were doing MSCI ESG ratings we were doing. Yes, I hope everybody is with me. Yes. Okay. So in this rating, we have discussed that, okay, they will answer 4 questions. They will try to find out 4 questions, right? What are the 4 questions? What are the risk and opportunities? How your company is exposed to that? How well you are managing and overall assessment. Then based on that, they will give the rating scores from 0 to 10 or AAA, triple C. Accordingly, scores are given. They have criteria for giving the scores. Then now what they will see. Now criteria, ma'am, remains the same. Environmental, social, governance. Related to environment, climate change, natural resources, pollution and waste, environmental opportunities. Ma'am, in KPIs, we have discussed this only, right? In social, human capital, product liability, stakeholder opposition, social opportunities, that they will see. Governance, corporate behavior, corporate governance. So all these criteria they will check and accordingly ratings will be given. Done? So that was your MSCI ratings. So 3 ratings we have done. 3 rating platforms we have done. First one we did was Dun and Bradstreet. Then Sustainalytics ESG risk ratings, right? And then we have discussed what MSCI is ESG rating. Now the fourth one, Bloomberg ESG disclosure scores. Now it is a data system that provides ESG information for over 11,800 companies in more than 100 countries. Basically, it is a data system. It will provide you all the data, ESG data. Right? Topics. What topics? Ma'am, you can just do the copy paste of this. Separately, no need to remember. These are examples given. And this directly you can write from, remember we have studied KPIs, different indicators. Directly you can copy from that also. So then if Bloomberg is asked, then also we will write the same thing. If MSCI criteria is asked, then also we are going to write the same thing only, right? But Bloomberg ESG disclosure scores are what? It is nothing but a data system which provide you information. Information of how much? Of over 11,800 companies from different 100 countries. It will provide data. Data will be provided on what criteria? Ma'am, same copy paste criteria. Done? So please don't just do hard work, do smart work also, that whatever common things are there, let it be. Common points only we are going to write it down. Done? Okay, next is your institutional shareholder service ratings and rankings. Now, institutional shareholder services, majority owned by Deutsche Börse Group. What it will provide? It provides company, country and fund ratings, as well as data and analysis across the full range of sustainability investment issues. So how it will provide rating? It is not just providing ratings on the companies. It is providing rating company-wise also, country-wise also, and fund-wise ratings as well. Right? Plus, it is giving you the data and analysis across everything related to the investments, related to the issues, right? Related to the climate change, basically all the factors, ESG factors. So related to this ESG factors, it is going to provide the ratings. Ratings about the company, country and fund as well. All the 3. Right? So in institutional shareholder, this point should be there, which was not there in any of the previous points, right? Otherwise, what are the criteria? All these are common criteria only. What is different? Focus on that. Common points anyway, you have to write it down. Now next is S&P Global's ESG scores. Now here underline this word bottom up approach. This should be there in your answer. What is this bottom up approach? Generally what this ESG rating approach follow, they follow up top bottom approach generally. Top bottom approach means what? That first they will analyze the industry. According to that, they will analyze your company and give scores, right? Bottom up approach means what? First your company will be analyzed, then they will compare with the industry. I hope this is clear. What is bottom up and what is top bottom? Top bottom means industry, then company. Bottom up means what? Company and then industry, right? So this S&P Global ESG scores, it focuses on bottom up approach. So this underline this point. So system's goal is to take the ESG, ESG scorecard directly to the industry level. Directly, first of all, your company will be seen directly compare with the industry, which can control ESG behavior. It takes a more analytical look at how well companies perform in areas such as environmental practices and employee relations. So focus on this. So main focus is on environmental practice and employee relations. That is what the main focus areas is there. It is following which approach? Bottom up approach it is following. Generally, otherwise every platform follows top bottom approach. It is following bottom up approach. So these two specific points you have to remember. Done? So Standard & Poor's Global is one of the largest companies that provide data analytics and reporting related to the companies across the world. Next, this is time pass. One CDP climate, water and forest scores. That means one organization is there, CDP, it is also providing the scores. Not important at all. Next is Moody's ESG Solution Group. Now underline this part, credit rating agency. It is one of the biggest credit rating agencies. You might have heard of CIBIL scores. Yes or no? CIBIL ratings, right? CIBIL ratings means what? Credit ratings. And based on that, you get the bank loans or credits, right? So this, yes, correct. Whenever you go to the bank, first of all, your CIBIL scores will be checked first that whether your credit score, what are credit payments you're doing on time or not, all these things. Based on that, scores are given, right? So this Moody is also one of the largest credit rating agency. So till now, whatever agencies we have seen, they were not credit rating agency. They were purely ESG rating agencies, right? But this Moody's is credit rating agencies also, which analyze ESG as well. The segment of their business offers ESG rating. See, just now we have discussed that it is a credit rating agency which analyze the ESG also. They have separate ESG business rating business as well, right? So analytics, sustainability rating, sustainability finance reviewer certified services using data from Moody's. That means they provide all such businesses, all such services, giving analytics, sustainable finance. That means money properly are used or not. It will provide certificate for that, right? So Moody's do that. So one of the group is your ESG. Done? So that you have to remember. So whatever specific things are there, do remember that. Otherwise, general things anyway, we are going to write it down. Yes. Now MSCI, one general example is given that how to understand this MSCI ratings. Now again, of course, this is not going to be asked in your exam. It is just an example given. In MSCI, 4 questions were answered, right? Correct? So an example is given. Then we have seen the criteria as well. So here also criteria are given that related to the climate change, what they will see. Natural capital, natural resources which you are using, related to the pollution and waste, environmental opportunities. This were all related to the environment. Then social. Social means human capital, product liability, right? Then stakeholder opposition. What are the social opportunities? And then here we have governance scores. Corporate governance and corporate behavior. So that only they have given again as an example. So how they score? They key issues are identified. They have identified all these issues, right? Now they will select 35 companies who are relevant to this industry, right? So what is the main issue? For example, here it is given packaging material and waste is a key issue. For what? Soft drink industry, because that bottles are a waste then, right? So they will select such companies. Then companies are scored on each key issue. On each issues, scorings will be given. So how many criteria they identify? They identify 80 different exposure metrics and 270 governance metrics. So many criteria are there on which they give the scores. It is not just 1, 2, 3. How they will give scores? 0 to 10. Low score means company is risk is more. High score means what? That yes, company is trying to mitigate the risk. That means good. If high scores are there, good for you. Then what will be done? Weighted average will be calculated because 270 criteria are there, metrics are there. In some metrics, 1 score is there, 10 score is there, 9 score is there. Then average will be considered for that. So issues are weighted. Weighted means what? Average will be calculated. Just like you get in exam, aggregate, right? And average. Similarly here also. Done? So this example, you don't need to study for your exam. Just for your understanding purpose, you can study. Okay. So majority of the chapter we have done. Whatever is left tomorrow, we are going to continue and mostly we will finish also. Let's see. Fine. So please do read all this today itself only because it is very important chapter. 15 marks weightage is there for the last 2 chapters. So don't take it lightly. Whatever we have done, please study, revise and come in the next class. Okay. So have a good day. Thank you everyone.